Welcome back to another episode of Guild Raids 101. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing the Pre-AdMech team against, I think this is an uncommon 3, it might be uncommon 4 Hive Tyrant. The Pre-AdMech team uses elements of the main AdMech team, which is one of the most competitive teams in the current Guild Wars meta, with a number of campaign characters. The main AdMech team is built around this character here, Exitor. Exitor's passive means that when any mechanical unit attacks an enemy that Ro's adjacent to, Ro gets to attack again. What we're going to do is just try and get as many activations for Ro as humanly possible. Now, the proper AdMech team has worked out the optimal way to do this, the best units to use to get the most. This requires leveling a lot of characters that aren't going to be so useful for the campaigns. So it's not a team I recommend going directly for newer players. However, we can combine the core idea of the AdMech team, which is lots of Exitor activations, with campaign mechanical units, so mechanical units used in the campaigns. We're obviously going to use Exitor. I'm going to add one more unit from the main AdMech team, which is Tangida. Tan's passive means that he gets to summon additional mechanical summons with every attack. I'll explain his active as we go through as well. If you just have Exitor and 4 mechanical units, any mechanical units in the game, you'll end up with an okay team. Even just adding Tangida in there really takes the team up to a level because of how his summons work. So I would probably only recommend using the pre-mech team if you've got both Ro and Tan. If you're going to farm Tan later, maybe in the short term you use Ro and just four mechanicals that you happen to have. Okay, so in addition to Ro, we're going to use Boss Gulgortz. Boss Gulgortz is mechanical. He also, because of his passive, has 2 attacks, meaning that he gets a double activation on Exitor. The next one I'm going to use is Aleph Null, again a mechanical unit, unsurprising for a Necron, and his active summons Scarabs. The Scarabs are mechanical, they activate Exitor even more. The last unit I'm going to use is a little bit not unusual, but breaks from what I've just said a little bit, which is I'm going to use Ancient Thoread. Thoread is not a mechanical unit. However, his passive gives an additional hit to any unit within 2 any friendly unit within 2 hexes with melee attacks. There is a damage maximum here, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. Now, Exitor only has 2 hits, meaning that if he has an additional hit, that's actually a 50% buff when Ro is within Thoread's radius. His damage, 801, should come in well below the maximum damage threshold here. Now, for the most part, I'm just using gold units here. The Aleph Nulls at gold 2. This is to show how much damage you can get with actually pretty excessively leveled units. My boss is at diamond 1. That is going to do a little bit more here. Hopefully he's not just going to steal the show, because the lesson here should really be what Exitor can do and what building a team around him can do. But obviously with a D1 in the mix, that might alter how the perception of things. Okay, let's think about the position that we start all of our units in. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a turn 1 Warg with where Tyrant is, but I'd like to set up with people up here. Where do we want everyone? Ro has slightly higher movement, so it's okay to start him back a little bit. And Thoread, he doesn't necessarily need to get right into the action because he's got this radius of 2. For the Machine of War, I'll use Galatian. If you can summon him, he's also a mechanical. That's additional damage. My Galatian's pretty weak though, so he might end up just dying as part of this. Okay, good. Let's set up. My plan here is to do a turn 2 Warg. I'm hoping Tyrant comes over here. That's if he stays here, it's fine as well. Ah, this is annoying. He's ended up on the high ground. That's fine though. Okay, good. We're not going to be able to Warg because boss is in base contact. But let's do this. Okay, even without the high ground advantage, which I really would have liked, this is a real shame that we didn't get the high ground here, that Tyrant got quite aggressive. Even without the high ground advantage, we still managed to do 35,000 damage on the first turn. Okay, so we can now see the Scarabs are doing exactly what we intended them to. They're attacking Tyrant and giving us even more row activations. Let's keep summoning. Okay, good. So some of our summons are probably going to get distracted now going after their summons, as we can see, yeah, what's happening here. That's absolutely fine. I don't really see anywhere we can get Galatian down. Okay, good. This seems like a good turn to showcase the two key actives that we're going to be using with this team. The first of these is Exitor Rose active. So Exitor Rose active allows him one turn where all of his activations do additional damage. We're going to start with that. The next thing we're going to use is Tangida's active. So by using Tangida's active, he changes kind of the mode that he's in. When he's in this mode, the sort of glowing orange mode, instead of summoning new Skitarii, he will reactivate all of the summons that are adjacent to him. In this case, it's just 2. Normally, I would like a little bit more than that, but I think we'll probably be able to get Tyrant down within a round or 2. Ideally, you want to have Gida in this second stance on the same turn that you use Exitor Rose active. With Tangida, you can switch him back in later turns, but obviously on the turn where you've used Rose active, you want to get as many activations as possible. So that's where you want Tangida in the other stance. Let's see how much he does. And as you can see, all of the summons next to him are reactivating, doing even more damage. Okay, we're really close to finishing him off. This might even do it, not quite, but definitely Boss Gulgortz and Ro are going to do it together. Okay, good. Hopefully that shows the core of how the pre-AdMech team works. This definitely wasn't a perfect run. The fact that we couldn't get our Ro on high ground, that wasn't ideal. Really, you want Ro on that high ground for the 50% damage buff. but it shows even at a mostly gold, okay, a little bit of diamond, but at a mostly gold level, just how much damage this team can put out. When you've got all of Aleph's Scarabs, all of Tangida's Skitari, all of them just activating row over and over again, you really can put out a phenomenal amount of damage. And Thoread, a nice little trick in there just to give Row that hit buff, so he's doing that bit more damage as he goes along. Okay, thank you all for listening.